Hello, good morning, good Sunday. Hello,
Hello.
how is everybody? There you go. Let's see if we fire this up here. Huh? Was there a raid? What's going on? Huh? No, this must be old. Sorry about that. False alarm. All right, what do we have? I've got this speaker here. Zetforitiklin. Thank you for that unusual comment. Mansage. Mudfrost, Captain Science, Daniel J. Bosco, Pity 83, Side Nut, Crispy Egg Roll. I am old. Why? Why? Where'd that come from? Oh yeah, it's Sunday and it's crispy. Okay. Oh, hello, Kirihiko. So we have our mods here. We have Kirihiko in the house. We have Crispy Egg Roll. I think we have. Just realized this thing is on an old chat stream here. Let me see if I can. There we go. Good morning. Good morning, VZA. Just Raw. Okay. Charlie App 7 is in the house. Patrick Cav. I think Run Elephant is working today, is my guess. The third mod. So we're down to 2 of 3. Not saying we're missing. We have full support today. Thank you very much for the cheer, Giovanni. How's the family? They're good. Oh, Ren Elephant is here. Hey, Ren. Yeah, so I went on a very short trip yesterday. I flew up in the morning to Santa Rosa. I'm going to start drawing while we're talking. Went up to oh, it would help if I turn this on. And that does not seem to activate the stream. What's going on? I flew. Anyway, I took this trip. I flew back this morning. I set this all up, and then I walked away to get some coffee. And now the video feed is frozen. I'm going to unplug this and replug this in. That's my guess. I'm going to try that first. Okay. 1 second. All right. This is very large. Okay. And I'm going to move this over here. those you might remember, this is I did a triptych of Batman, Catwoman, and Joker, and because of user error, I drew the Joker too large, and I was trying to sell it as he was kind of in the foreground. It just, in the end, it didn't look right. So I banded the Joker piece and restarted and just drew him smaller on a separate piece of paper. So I had the original board here, which I'm going to finish while I'm talking. So if those of you who are new to the stream, when I'm here, you can see me. And I've got this cord. Ay, ay, ay. There we go. So you can see me when I'm over here, but when I draw, you're just going to see my shoulder. And that's by design. Anyway, yeah, so I took a short trip. I flew yesterday morning. I think I got up at like 4 or 5 in the morning. And I took a flight up to Santa Rosa, California, which is an hour and a half north of San Francisco. And then I got up super early at 4 o'clock today and flew back down. So I was just visiting some family. My wife's grandfather lives up there. He is 97 years old, so shout out to Raleigh, who was actually in really good spirits, and had a really great conversation with him yesterday while we were visiting. And he's an amazing guy. He he was a fighter pilot during World War II. He flew P-51 Mustangs in the European theater. Originally out of Bari, Italy, which is near the heel of Italy, but then as the Allies progressed further north in Italy, he was actually stationed. He tells me this yesterday, and I've known him for years. He was stationed in Fano, Fano, and Fano is a tiny town on the Adriatic. And I have friends that live in Fano. I've been to Fano. And all this time, I did not know this. It was kind of tripping me out. And, he's talking about the beaches there. And, I've been on those beaches. It's just odd. Like, he and I were kind of in the same spot, but decades apart. But yeah, he was talking about, I think at one point he said they took off and there were about 50 planes behind him, and the oldest officer, the highest ranking officer, or the oldest officer, was 24 years old. So if you can imagine that, that's, and each of the P-51s had 50 caliber machine guns, 3 on each wing. So you're saying I had 300 guns behind me. Like, can you imagine? I think he was probably like 21, 22 at the time. Can you imagine something like that? Having that kind of life experience that early. Mr. Raha 99, correct. Yes. Thank you, Will Broussard, for the cheer. And welcome Warm Wave Studio, who has just subscribed with Twitch Prime. So I'm just drawing this as we get kind of warmed up. I think one of the ongoing side bets, if you're new to the stream, is like how long it takes me to actually start drawing. So just to throw my naysayers off, I'm actually drawing right away while I kind of warm up mentally, technically, and all that other goodly stuff. So So yeah, I haven't drawn. Well, actually, you know what? I drew a couple covers this week. I did a. What did I draw? I drew a Batman Hush cover. That's for a recut of the Hush Unwrapped book, and it's interesting. Originally, I just kind of had Batman on one side, Hush on the other side, with this line down the middle. Thank you, Angry Panda 888, for the resub. 10 months in a row, so you've been here. My favorite Canadian sub, eh? All right. Angry Panda 888, definitely in the running. So what was I saying? Yeah, so I did this Hush recut and cover. And originally I just had Batman one side, Hush on the other, and I kind of knew, like, I did the trade paperback, the soft cover, has that cover with him and Hush, and they kind of are divided down the center with Catwoman and Harley Quinn and Superman and Joker, and but I figured it was a close up, kind of different. But of course, I kind of bring in the rough. My assistant Eddie Choi is like, oh, it's similar to this. I'm like, yeah, thanks for pointing that out. Why he subscribed? Thank you very much. Jarosla has also subbed, and Twin12 with Captain Nemo 42. Thanks, guys. And so he kind of expressed verbally kind of what I had thought. And said, yeah, it's probably too simple. But I'm going to, instead of drawing a line down the middle, I'll kind of do a tear to kind of differentiate it. And he said, well, maybe you can move it around. And I said, well, if you do that, and he knew where I was going, and he kind of finished the sentence, is you read Batman first. You read in Western culture left to right. So I would feel odd putting Hush on the left, Batman on the right. I said, I'll figure it out. I'll take it home. I'll work it out. And but he was like, oh, you should do something with the bandages coming off. And I'm like, oh, that's not really the story. But in thinking about it, and I did at one point, one of the early ideas had was bandages with like Batman kind of full figure kind of coming out of it. And I don't know, just it seemed didn't work for me. I didn't know if people would really, they associate bandages with Hush, I guess, but at the same time, like bandages are, they look like litter. There's nothing really eerie about them visually. It's not like ivy or thorns, or something like that. So, yeah, I didn't know what to do. Anyway, went back home, looked at it, started messing around with the design, and said, what if I did it so that... Well, at first, sorry, I took it home, and with the intent of... I went home and I said, well, I'll look at the trade paperback. I'll look at Hush. I haven't looked at it in years. And I'll look at it and see if there's any sort of striking imagery that comes to mind. Maybe it will spark inspiration or something. And so I grabbed my copy here. I started flipping through it, and I read it very quickly, and nothing came to mind. But I did see like some mistakes. This is 15 years later, and I'm like, what? Anyway, so here's the first one. I'm going to point them out. And so we corrected them, so this edition of Hush Unwrapped will have improvements over the original. They're very minor, though, so that's not why you should buy it. But anyway, so check this out. Happy mistakes. So this is the original. And so if you look at the pages, some of them look kind of gray and have streaks in them. And it's because at the time, I had split my time between... I was traveling or something between Italy and America, or I was scanning some of the pages at home and some at the office. So I was kind of never had anticipated there being an unwrapped version, so I didn't quite have. I had photocopies of every page, right? But I didn't necessarily have scans. So this is actually from a photocopy. I don't know where the scan ended up, right? But that's not the mistake. The mistake is you have the scene, and then when we did the absolute, I think, I added a 2-page origin for Batman. I just did a retelling of the origin. I thought it'd be kind of cute or cool to kind of update the origin in my style. And I just drew it, and based off of the original 1-page origin, I think kind of expanded it 2 pages. Gave it to Jeff Loeb, and he just scripted it. So there's never like he never wrote a story for it. I didn't know what the dialogue was. I just based it off of, and did the same thing for Tomorrow, Superman for Tomorrow. I figure they could put their spin. So if you read Jeff Loeb's story, there's this whole thing that happens. Like it's like a he wrote this kind of narrative over it, like it's from Alfred's point of view, right? So that's something where we did it very Marvel style. I drew it based off of 1-page origin that I remember reading as a kid, and that's how I kind of knew who Batman was, and it really inspired me, and I kind of wanted to redo it after all those years. So in that absolute, I added some splash pages to make some of the double page spreads line up, I think, and also just add some pages, I think, but mostly to even out the double page spreads, I believe, because the double page spreads have to fall on an even and odd page, and I don't know if they necessarily did. So I identified some spots where I needed them, and one of them was, I thought, oh, in this chase sequence, I could put it here. So you've got Batman chasing Catwoman. She's doing a flip. And so this is the new page. And, no big deal. And I have these flags here, and this is very much off of, I think, like the United Nations building or something. I had some photo reference of New York City in a book. I remember these flags kind of from different countries, and that kind of stuck with me. And so I did this image where you can't really tell from the black and white. It's interesting. You pick up the other details when you see pencils, but a lot of times you lose the depth. And so like these flags really just kind of disappear when it's colored. They pop because of the color popping off the kind of asphalt gray of the city. All right. And then I was able to set up these guys here, which show up in the second issue, and kind of connect them to Batman before they show up in the next issue. So I was kind of able to do some forsaging of what was to come by adding this extra page. But she's got this backpack, and inside it has like $1 million, or is it more than $1 million? This is going to be a bit of a tangent here. How much is in this suitcase? And I remember getting the script from Jeff and going, I don't know if you can carry that much money in your backpack or in a briefcase. Sometimes these writers, they don't think things through, right? All right, hold on. I'm going to find out. And if this is boring, like there's other things to do. You can come back. I'll be drawing a little bit. Anyway, spend money to make money. You're Batman. Do they never say how much? Oh, a demand for $10 million was made. $10 million. Okay. And it's in this briefcase. So what I did, I was like, and that's the time. I mean, this is 2002, 2003. I don't know if I've ever seen, how much money again? $10 million in cash. Okay. I remember when Wildcats #1 came out and the writer Brandon Choi, he got paid money for writing it and got a royalty, and I wanted to, you know, kind of give him something kind of cool visually. I mean, he got the royalty check, but then I went to the bank and I got cash, and I wanted to fill up a briefcase of cash. This is before this story was ever published, and give it to him, like, hey, here you go. And you open it up, and it's all this cash inside a briefcase. And I remember how hard it was to fill that briefcase. I think it was like maybe $10,000 or something, of how hard it was to fill that briefcase. So I had to go down to like 20s or 10s or maybe $1 bills to fill it up. So I knew that, and I think since that time I've seen more cash or whatever, but so like a stack of hundreds like this thick is like 10 grand. So if that's 10 grand, then this would be, this is about 100 grand. So if you had 10 stacks like that, that would be $1 million. And then if you had 10 of those, that would be $10 million. And here's the briefcase. Here, that holds $10 million. So, yeah. Go check out Francis Manifold's stream. Alex Trippy Chervesky, whatever. You can check it out. And I think at the time, I was like, I could draw a suitcase that would fit 10,000 or $10 million. But it would look like a steamer trunk. And I have to have like Catwoman running around with this thing. I mean, literally, this steamer trunk or a duffel bag. But then I would have this huge duffel bag, on her the whole time. So maybe they're treasury bond notes or something like that. I think that's what they do in movies, right? They use something that people don't even really understand, but there are these supposedly negotiable forms of currency which are like certificates of money, but I'm pretty sure those are trackable, so it's not like cash. Or maybe this was paid out in euros, because euros, they have a 500 euro note. They might even have a 1,000 euro note. But this is an artist overthinking it. If you want to see, if you look in the dictionary, artist overthinking, this right here, this is it. Summary. Anyway, so there's the suitcase. And also, paper is super heavy. $10 million in cash, extremely, extremely heavy. I've not ever carried $10 million in cash. But it's heavy. It's heavy. It's paper. A ream of paper is heavy, and it'd be more than a ream. So now I've got this thing, and Catwoman steals $10 million in that briefcase. If only you walk around $10 million like that. And on this new page, I was so excited to draw this pose and kind of pull off the musculature here. Let's see if I can, like the back musculature. I mean, that's all kind of just made up. It's like, oh, I got kind of the pull in the shoulders and the tension in the body, and then the swing up. I didn't draw her the backpack. It disappears, right? The musculature. Yeah. So, yeah, she lost the money. Yeah, maybe she did. But then the next page, what? It's back up on her shoulders again. All right? I don't know what was wrong with me. And it's clearly there, right? So I drew it back in. Here you go. If you look here, and the way I kind of cheated it is like, oh, well, maybe I'll put cash up here as well. Right? There's cash up here and down here. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 10 up here. So there's 10 down here. So each stack has to have $1 million. Oh, no, 10 and 10. Sorry. $500,000. So this would be 5 million here, 5 million there. So a stack would have to be $500,000. Like that. Yeah, okay. Maybe they're compressed. I don't know. I'm ruining the book for you. When you read it again, you'll be like, yeah. So I am ruining it for you. And then that was mistake one I wanted to fix, and I just added the briefcase. I didn't expand the briefcase. I should have redrawn it and drawn like a giant briefcase on her back, and then you guys would be like, "Oh my god, this is so messed up." Like the shot here would be literally just this big steamer trunk on her back. Like you wouldn't even see her head. The fact the steamer trunk would hit her head, she'd be knocked out in this next panel. She'd be like, "Ah, what's going on?" So that's screw up number one. So I'm like flipping through, and then I get to this, and I didn't really understand this. I mean, this is where Superman and Batman face off, and so Batman has a ring in his belt for just this occasion. He carries a kryptonite ring with him at all times. I would too, actually, if I had one. I mean, well, you never know. And so he puts it on his right hand. It's clearly evident there. See it again. Superman comes crashing in. There we see the ring still. Boom, punches him. We show the glint of green and color, so we know it's there. And then on this page, I don't know what happened. I must have thought like, oh, this hand's over here, so that's the right hand, and the ring disappears. You know, the next page it reappears. So I'm not quite sure what happened. Other than I don't draw the pages in sequential order in the story, so maybe I started with this page, and then thinking the ring was on the other hand, and then I drew it differently elsewhere. But honestly, it's not my fault. It's not my job to. I mean, that's what an editor does, right? Right? Are you with me? I mean, what do you think? What does the editor do besides look at it and look for mistakes like this? So, I'm gonna blame the editor. Yeah, Norio 83. I don't draw in sequential order, and that's because of deadlines. I know that if I start sequentially, I might blow a lot of my time on the first pages, and by the end, if I run out of pages, you'll see that you'll see the lack of energy and detail by the last page. You go like, oh, he ran out of time, and a lot of times the last pages have hooks or splash pages that kind of draw you into the next issue. So I draw the most important scenes visually first, and then I do the least important ones, and that way, if you see something where it's just filler information between important scenes, and it looks like I slacked off because I ran out of time. This last page I did. You won't really notice it. It'll look like I put the appropriate effort in for the importance of that page. The only thing is that you lose track of continuity, and you have to make sure, like if someone breaks their arm, that the bandages or the sleeves or whatever in the right place. So there's all that kind of stuff that I do get tripped up on because I run, but that's how they do film and TV. I mean, they shoot out of order. And then my helpful assistant Eddie's like, hey, this ring's in the wrong spot too. I'm like, no, that's his index finger. That's his middle finger. This is not a finger over here. That's the side of the palm. So these are the kind of conversations we have at work. If you really want to know what a publisher slash chief creative officer does, we argue about fingers and hands. Okay. So I think those are the two mistakes. And I didn't really see any other continuity gaffes. But it was kind of interesting, like you could see where I would put word balloon placements, and so like underneath this word balloon yes, I wrote it yes, and I drew two tails going off because I thought it'd be kind of funny. I don't know if I hadn't done that, if it would have been yes and yes, two separate balloons. I don't know, maybe, but these are kind of the visual things I like to put in that do end up getting used. And I think I put some other bits of dialogue in here that were just meant as a joke and they got published. I'm like, kind of takes you out of the story a little bit. Let's see if I can find one quickly. I also drew myself in this issue. I think the Harlequin was probably where I thought artistically it was probably the where I was kind of firing on all cylinders. It's one of the more like all around kind of best issues in terms of figure work, backgrounds. I was pretty happy with how that issue in particular turned out. Oh, one other mistake. And apparently this is in a lot of the, well, these two pages are out of order. If you compare this to the original comic book, the scene goes this page and this page. The funny thing is, if you read it this way, it still makes sense, more or less. But if you read it this page and this page, you'll read it as it was intended. On this page here, I just drew the two figures. There was no background initially, and Jeff Loeb said, like, hey, you need to put backgrounds there. So I'm like, I cursed his name, and I drew the rest of the backgrounds in. He was right. I thought I could get away with it because I established all the backgrounds, these other pages. But you need to kind of show it every now and then so you kind of know where the characters are. But this was a lot of fun because there was a lot of kind of time captured stuff, you know, where you see multiple images, Harlequin trying to capture that kind of zany energy. And I remember on this shot in particular, I was like, man, how do I show him, like, it didn't look, how do I intensify that he's like really kicking down this door? Okay, I'll have his like cape flare out. I'll do a hyper extension of the legs part. I'll do like crack lines in this door. Obviously we have the sound effect. I'll drop this shadow of this leg here to show how close this door is, because it seemed like it was really far back. If you didn't have these other visual cues. Right, that shadow helps place the distance between the two, and then I put this footprint at the end. Like he hit it so hard, he left a footprint on this metal door. Yeah. But again, it kind of places the distance and brings it to the foreground. But you know, he kicked this door so hard it came off the hinges. It's literally flying off. But I was happy with this panel here just because super easy to draw a guy running away with a cape. But it was inspired by a Neil Adams shot where he drew the other side where he's running forward towards you. So it was kind of like that shot from behind. And like I said, it's a cheat because you're not really drawing much for the figure, but it's still kind of cool and very atmospheric because you get the rain effect and you get just draw the city, all that kind of good stuff. Oh, you know, I think I wrote some dialogue which was just too goofy. It was this kind of moment. Or maybe not. I don't know what. Yeah. So like this is a photocopy. You can tell the photocopy is a little more blown out. There's a lot more contrast versus the pages that were scans where you can see a lot more of the gray tones in there. Like this is a scan. You get that side kind of pencil action going on. And, oh, I know what it was. Okay, here's the scene. It's later. These pages I was drawing in Italy. I was in Bologna for some reason. I'm not sure why. So I was traveling back and forth, and that's why some of the pages kind of got lost, or I forgot to scan them. But I drew these in a hotel in Bologna. And so I agonized about these guys. They were supposed to jump out of. They're on these little platforms, like very Johnny Quest like, and they come out of the sand. You know, that was the script. And I'm like, how do they? So they hide down underneath this. How do they breathe? I mean, this is overthinking it again. But this is kind of, I need to do this to figure it out so I can draw it. At the end of the day, I gave them like these little. No one ever asked. And they never explain it, but they've got these little canisters of air so they can survive. Right? Because if you're going to be a henchman and say, hey, I want you guys to hide under the sand here while I fight Batman hand to hand, and at the appropriate time you're going to come up and save me. If I were a henchman, I'd be like, hey, boss, how do I breathe under the sand? So that's what they have. Like anyone would care. If I put that in, it doesn't even matter. If I don't put it in, you guys don't care. You're like, ooh, cool, people under the sand coming out, saving him. That's cool, right? Yeah, I should have shown one of them like kind of picking sand out of his butt. I mean, something. I mean, it's like, anyway, I screwed that up. So, all right. So here's the scene. This is a lovely scene. So, like, basically, is it Shiva, right? One of Ra's al Ghul's henchwomen is just kicking the snot out of Catwoman, like beats her almost to death, right? And at this point, Batman's kind of hooked up with her, but Talia's kind of pulling at his emotional strings. Talia leaves, and then no, she doesn't leave. She comes out. She frees herself from this chair that she was tied to, and smashes the chair over Shiva, knocks her out, and kind of abandons Catwoman there. Batman shows up, and then Talia, of course, like seeing this, comes back, like, oh, I'm gonna get in the middle of this. And so she left, but decides to come back because she sees Batman saving Catwoman and kisses him. Right, and then so the Batman I wrote, when it rains it pours. Like I'm thinking, like he's got these two incredibly beautiful, alluring women after him, and she's just literally Talia's come back just to f with him, just to mess with him, right? And then I'm thinking, on the ground is Catwoman, who's been beaten to a pulp, there to save Talia on behalf of Batman, even though she doesn't really feel like she should. Like, what is Talia to her? But she does it anyway out of love for Batman. And Batman's like making out with his former girlfriend. So I wrote, it's hard to read, but like there's a word balloon that kind of comes down here, but it's like, ouch. I'm not dead, you know. A little room, please. A little room, ... please. Like, could you go do this elsewhere? I just thought it was like wholly inappropriate. Like, Batman, come on. Can't treat women like this. And then meanwhile, Talia's like flirting and like looking over her shoulder at him, and finally Batman picks up Catwoman, and he's like, and she should be thinking like, oh, finally, pick me up. Meanwhile, I'm bleeding out. Anyway, he's a billionaire playboy. That's right, Roy Batty 06. You know, what's he gonna do? I mean, he's a billionaire playboy. I mean, you think these are the first two women that have thrown themselves at him? Come on. Anyway, there we go. Masterpiece Theater. All right, my shoulder's messed up here, so hold on. It's gonna take me a second. I think I have a. So I thought I had this. It's gonna take me like 10 minutes. It's like Harry Houdini. The Dister one. Thanks for the spoiler, dude. Anyway, all right. Okay. Oof. All right. So we're gonna go back and finish that. I don't even know what I was talking about. Anyway, so I ended up doing a shot where you see Batman and Hush's face together. But then I was like, ooh, is there a way I can do this so it looks like on one side it's Batman with just bandages, but on the other side it's Hush, but they look like the same face. And so that was sort of a visual challenge. And then can I show the ear, but obviously on the left side is Batman's ear, but on the right side, can I show the ear even though it's Hush's face that I'm trying to draw, and I just had the band just kind of fold in the air, and it basically creates this bandaged-like or ear-like effect. And if you look at it carefully, there is no ear there. So I was happy with how it turned out. So I'm going to give the credit to my assistant, Eddie Choi. All right, let's see what we got going on. I know there's a lot of activity I missed. Got Petri23 has subscribed. Lore798 as well. Charlie App 7 has cheered. Why don't you give them long straws, Jim? Come on, long straws. Why didn't you give them long straws? I'm not sure what that is in reference to. Angry Panda 888 from Canada says Batman Hush behind the scenes. Penciler's cut. Yeah. Tim Art Peterson has cheered 100 bits. Flipping through my copy unwrapped with you. This is so awesome. Awesome. Great. We could do this another time. We can go through. I can nitpick about everything that I drew. And trust me, there's a lot of stuff I go like, oof, that didn't turn out quite. It doesn't age so well. And other ones are I'm going like, oh, I like how I pulled this off. So it's not all negative. I do look at it pretty critically, though. And Charlie Up 7 again cheered. Love the Harley Quinn splash in the theater. Thank you very much. Had a good time with that. Luke and Pub has resubscribed as well. Sorixian has resubbed as well. Congrats, by the way, Jim. Sethel21 has subscribed using Prime. So if you are Amazon Prime member, you're new to this, you actually get a complimentary Twitch membership. It's a $5 sub. You could use it every single month, but it's inconvenient that every month you have to resub. You can't just hit it and it just continually keeps doing it for you, so you have to manually enter it every month, I believe. Tarkus110 has resubbed as well. Brandon Ham has resubbed as well. John Davies Fitness, Low Keyed, The Batman Who Laughs cheered very generously. Don't forget Flashpoint Batman. Also Martha Wayne Joker would be cool to see. Chuck Arnold 3000 has subbed 10 months. Very cool. Thanks for streaming. Chuck, I thought you you resubscribed using Prime. That's right. Because I think I just read that. I remember reading that off last month. Razor Romance was hosting. Patrick 10 has cheered. Thank you for the support, Patrick. Betis has cheered as well. Hey, Jim. Hey, Betis from Denver. When It Rains has cheered as well. Charlie App 7 saw the new unwrapped cover. Jim, gorgeous. Thank you. So that cover took, I don't know, that one and the Batman with like the connected forehead to Catwoman. I think they probably both took like 3.5 hours each. So any sort of big head cover will go faster, but it's all about creating tones and values at that point. It's not really about structure. I mean, there's some structure. There's structure in the head, of course, but it's a lot easier to do that than there is to like pose multiple figures. So, but because you have something very simple, now you have to create shadows, values, texture, and that's what makes it kind of pop and come alive. But I thought the Hush one came out decently because if you look, is it Batman revealing Hush, or is it Hush revealing Batman? I think that's kind of what I was trying to get at. And then, spoiler alert, I was thinking, well, maybe it should be Batman, the bandages come off and you see Jason Todd. But then I was like, oh, I can't put that on the cover, even though this book's been out for 15 years. There's still people buying it, sell like 300, 400 copies a week still in all the different forms, different markets. I assume those people are buying it for the first time, or some of them. I don't want to ruin it for them, like I just did now for everyone in stream. Sorry. All right. Paul SRPH has subscribed. Okiani has subscribed. That was a long time ago, so I'm caught up. All right. David Mala 2000 has subscribed using Prime. Quick Draw 13 from Australia, who's woken up very early. Woke up a bit late. Oh. But watching you talk about Hush is awesome. Saw some original Hush pages last weekend, and damn, you and Scott put a lot of love into each line. Love the new unwrapped cover. Did you get nostalgic penciling that? A little bit, I guess. It was fun. It's a different version of Batman. Like when I was doing the DK3 covers, I was kind of channel more, Frank Miller's version of Batman. There's a certain sort of classic shape to the Hush Batman, like in terms of his musculature and physique. So I wanted to nail that. Vayet23 has resubbed for 10 months. Thank you very much for that long-term support. Much appreciated. Janella from the Philippines has cheered as well. Babysitter Killer. Very popular. Inviting. Screen name? Andre Catonelistratus. That's difficult to say. Tai Lu has hosted actually significantly with 12 viewers. Thank you very much. Welcome in all those people. Normally we get a host and it's like one viewer. Got 12 this time. That's awesome. So at this point, most of the work's done. I'm just kind of goofing around, just like adding sort of values, just darkening things up through cross-hatching. This is hair, but at the same time I can cross-hatch it if I do it finely enough. You guys won't mind it. You'll read it as dark hair, even though it's a crosshatch. I'm trying to think what I'm going to draw. So I think I'm going to do this as the silent auction, and then I'm going to put up for a vote what I'm going to draw as sort of the giveaway. I think we're at sub 25 this week. And then for anyone in chat, I'll probably, I've got some of these kind of goofy things that, I don't know, some of you guys might enjoy. I use them in stream to either show brush technique or structure of hair, I think, or gun barrels and mouths or something, shadows here. So there'll be like at least 2-3 things that we're going to give away today. Any people here for the first time? Make yourselves known. Always curious how people come to this. So you can see I softened that chin line. I brought it up a little bit, just ever so slightly. It was definitely too low. I think in the end it could even benefit more from this kind of angle here. All right. And I think at this point I could probably go to brush, which I will do. Oh, Saucing Souls Twitch TV. How do you enter silent auction? All right, so the way we normally do it is you just send a whisper. Whisper is like a direct message in Twitch. It's in the lower left corner or something. You can send a direct message to anyone, I think, that allows it. But in the future, I think there's some of the mods who are Kirihiko, Run Elephant, and Crispy Egg Roll that came out of the system that will use, I don't know, a Google application form. I feel like on one hand it's like more work to set it up, but once you set it up, it's a lot easier on the back end for me to figure out who the high bidder is. It seemed like a good thing. I just didn't have time to really address it because I've been traveling, and I literally woke up at 4 in the morning today, flew out at 5:30 in the morning out of Santa Rosa, landed into LAX. Like 7:30, the flight was delayed, and I got home maybe an hour and a half ago or so. And that needed to set up all the cameras and everything, get this thing up and running, so I didn't really have time to do much other than that. But soon, there are other things I want to do. There's emoticons I want to add to the stream. But look, this is a hobby for me. It's something that I enjoy doing that I happen to monetize, so yay monetization. Okay. Neo X Blade. Have you watched Maximilian Dude's streams? I have. He's a Dragon Ball Z fanatic, but also into, I guess, the Capcom X-Men video game and stuff like that. So I loaded up the brush with way too much ink here, so I need to pull it down a little bit so I can fade it out. These teeth are way too small, like down here, so I gotta fix that. I might have to do that with whiteout at this point. But I noticed in Discord, and I really recommend you guys, if you're not on Discord, to join the Discord. We have a Discord channel. It's a communications platform, mostly for people that are gaming to communicate with each other. But it's robust. You can send messages, post stuff. The mods will give you the link on or the info on how to join it. But it's a great sort of interstitial community platform that kind of fills the space in between these live streams where people kind of converse and talk about streams or art, comics, movies, ways to improve the stream, things I'd like to see, keeps track of sketches drawn from previous streams, and most importantly, it gives you the most up-to-date stream schedule, and also gives you info on how to set up the alert so you get the alert when the streams go live. I mean, I think you get alert through Twitch, but I guess it doesn't always work. I was thinking of doing, some of the characters, like One Punch Man, maybe. I was thinking. Maybe Satana. If you've been following this stream for a while, you'll realize that I really don't have too much of a formula. Like, I'll do things for a while and then I kind of mix it up. That's just kind of out of the need to keep it creative and different for me. So you'll still get to vote in a little bit, but I was doing cheers before. People could kind of cheer and nominate what they wanted me to draw. But I'm going to curate the list. Maybe I'll go back to that other way after a bit. Let's do these buildings back here. Neo X-Blade, I remember my first comic book. It was X-Men #1. Thank you for your awesome work. Thank you very much. Thanks for being around all these years. That was a long time ago, dude. It goes by fast, though. That's all I can say. It's crazy. And you know you're old when you say stuff like that. No young, no 16-year-old goes, gosh, dang it, you remember we were just 9 years old? If anything, I remember this is probably the last time I really thought about time as a kid. I was like in sixth grade going like, I have 6 more years till I graduate high school. It seemed like an eternity. I just remember like looking up at the sun out like during playground session, right? Kids just spastically running around playing tag on the fields of St. Louis. I just blank fields. I don't know what we were doing. And, you know, it's like kind of looking up at the sky, just having this profound, like, I am never going to grow up. It's going to take too long, you know. Life is way too long. And that was probably the last time I thought about it. Now it just, like a year to me feels like 4 months. And that might be because of the job. Like a lot of times we're encouraged to think in 5-year plans, right? 5 years out, we're planning 5 years into the future, like our budgets and our plans, how to grow the business, where we think the business is going to grow, and oftentimes to launch new initiatives like Black Label or DC Zoom or Inc., the young adult or the young reader line from DC. It takes years to get that up and running. I mean, it's crazy how long it takes. You know, you got to hire people, you got to find the right people, both internally and externally. You got to draft new contracts. You got to create logos. You got to hear pitches. You got to get feedback, refine the pitches. You got to find artists. You have to go to different venues to promote. I mean, it's just complicated. You got to work on marketing plans, publicity plans. Even this Walmart thing, that actually went relatively fast, but that took months of planning. Trip down to Bentonville, Arkansas. I'm sure I mentioned it in one of the streams, the trip I took, not to Arkansas because it was a secret trip, but I'm sure at some point I said, oh, I just came back from a trip. I think it was a period a couple months ago where I was like traveling quite a bit. So that was kind of an interesting trip. I don't know, that might have been the first time I ever went to Arkansas. Let's see if I got this in frame here. Okay. Hal Jordan 69. I'm from Arkansas. You ain't missing much. No, Hey, look, I'm from the Midwest. It felt a lot like St. Louis to me, so it was cool. But it was literally a 1 day turnaround. You fly in the morning, have a meeting, and then you fly back. But it was a great meeting. It was a good meeting. Very excited for the line of reprint books through Walmart. It will actually have new original content as well. Jimmy Palmiotti's doing some stuff. Tom King, Brian Bendis. And if any of you are retailers out there, of course, you will have access to the material to sell when we combine the new material into trades. But the mission, and a lot of the stuff that we are planning for this year is to expand the world of comics, to bring in new readers. We lost a valuable platform in newsstand, and we feel it's vital that we figure out ways to bring new readers into the marketplace. The books have comic book shop locators in them if they're into the stories they've read and want to see more. I remember as a kid very fondly buying, I think there were 100 pages for 60 cents. But that's how I learned about DC's different worlds, because they would have generally all new front section, then the middle section was like a reprint from like maybe the 70s, the Bronze Age, and then they would have stuff even from like the Golden Age or really old materials, and that's how I learned about Earth 3 or Earth S, the Golden Age versions of Black Canary and the Atom, Wonder Woman, and these books often had like team ups from the different Earths. So really learned a lot about the multiverse through these collections. Okay. Okay, hey, Jay Sharf has subscribed. Charlie App 7. I'm just going to call you Charlie. Charlie has cheered. It's so funny when you point out errors like Cyclops' chest was too wide when the same dimensions help shape me as an artist. Yeah, I think it's not that it was too wide, it's just that's the way things looked back then, or that was kind of in vogue. It's just like fashion and shoulder pads and lengths of hems and length of jackets. Like, jacket lengths used to be a lot longer, and now they're super short. Even pants, trousers are a lot shorter. The size and thickness of lapels and ties. It changes over time, and just at that time, characters are super massive and wide and muscular, and they're much more sort of normalized or more relaxed or more less bombastic, less exaggerated in appearance now. Good morning, Dave C. Perez. The fourth 24 has subscribed as Evolution of Evil. Hassan 16 has cheered and subbed. Die Carly or D Carly has subscribed as well. And Tim Art Peterson suggesting Rogol Zar. Einstein Gene Sum has subscribed. Michael Mellinson has subscribed. Thank you. Crimson Haro 1207, 10 months. Thank you very much for supporting the stream for so long. Ego Bird has subscribed as well. I'm Here for Jim Lee has subscribed for 3 months. Tier 1, awesome. I'm here for you. Wolfgang AWD Ob and Peephole Circus has subscribed as well. Box School has resubscribed. Thanks for the streams. GZ with the promotion. Good. I don't know if that means good luck. Tai Lu. Oh, I already mentioned that, so I'm caught up. Awesome. D. Calvin has cheered. Kyle Rayner, Green Lantern, please. All right. Let's finish up the sky. Anyway, so I normally start with like the giveaway, and then I kind of move. Well, not always though, and I take that back. And then at some point, I do the whispered piece. Today, I'm just kind of starting the whisper. I think Mudfrost said that I'm kind of moving at a very kind of relaxed pace. You can tell from the tone in my voice, the cadence of my speech. It's just that kind of a day. If you're here in LA, it's kind of overcast and misty. It's a very June gloom type day. And a one-day trip, even if it's an hour and a half long, I mean, it's convenient, but it does kind of take a little bit out of you. And certainly, well, it's great to see Carla's grandfather. I mean, he's 97. You know, there's a bit of somberness to it, and you know, you don't know how much longer he'll be with us, so it's great to see him. Makes you a little reflective, I guess, is the word I'm looking for. And then with his shoulder injury, I just like, there's, you know, it gets worse and worse. I think it's rotator cuff. I go in for an MRI on Friday, so I'll know by next stream, I think, what's going on. Oh, which reminds me, I think I'm going to be in Las Vegas this upcoming weekend for the Frank Miller, Brian Azzarello signing at Torpedo Comics. And I don't fly back in the morning. So there will I have to figure out there won't be a morning stream this next Sunday. I have to figure out what we're going to do. Or maybe there will. I don't know. It'll be from my hotel room. I'll have to figure it out. It'll be in the Discord channel, so check there. All right. There we go. Oh, that's in stream. Idiot Savant. Yeah, you know, my big fear is that it'll require surgery. It's funny that since I've had this injury, and I've talked to a lot of people I know, and they said, oh yeah, I've had it, or I know someone who's had it. I'm pretty sure it's a rotator cuff, which is like the tendons that kind of hold your shoulder joint in place on top of your shoulder blade or whatever. They're either frayed or torn. But yeah, surgery would be the worst case scenario, which would, even though it's a shoulder injury, I wouldn't be able to draw. And that could take months of healing. So my goal really is to baby this shoulder and then to rehab it. And so one of the Carlos uncles I was talking to yesterday was saying that's what happened to him. He rehabbed it. So in Googling it, it just basically means you can't, you have to basically let it heal. And then you slowly do these exercises that kind of build up strength again. It's a very long process. Hey, but that's good. If you think you have a lot of time ahead of you, nothing better than doing that. All right, what do we got? Trevor has subscribed. That's weird. What happened to my recent events? There we go. Alredo Blado has subscribed as well. Z Lightning. Charlie saying I should look into bursitis, maybe. but I'm pretty sure I know what caused the injury, which was pulling an overhead bag out of the carry-on bag over the overhead. I can already feel it kind of straining, as even if I lift my arm up just like this. And it was one trip was super heavy and it was coming down super fast, and I just was trying to stop it from. I don't know why I was trying to stop it. Maybe I didn't want it to smash down on a chair, or maybe there's someone that it was going to fall on top of. I don't know, or maybe my own kid. Who knows? And so, and I've been traveling a lot this year, more than ever, and so I'm sure that has aggravated it, as that you kind of have that like repetitive motion of pulling heavy bags up from overhead every week. And so it's just been weird, like opening doors with my left hand and doing a lot of stuff with my left hand, in terms of like picking up my bags and while I'm traveling. I'm gonna probably ice it a little bit as well. That's what they kind of recommend. So good times, man. Good times. Feels old, man. Is there an app or is there an emote for that? Feels old, man. I should create one. Did the bat? Yeah. B3N52. Did it have 10 million? Yes, that was the one time I was carrying $10 million of cash in a briefcase, and it was heavy. You're right. I'm trying to pull it down one-handed. Silly me. Hi, Super Saydosh. Datman71 has sub. Kyle Rayner 21. Draw Kyle Rayner Green Lantern. Janelle is asking for Batman and Catwoman. Batpunk 9. Watch you do landscapes. Awesome watch you do landscapes and everything else. DM615. What can you say about the Titans TV show? I can't say anything. Yeah. Sorry to disappoint. Okay. Bring the night sky down to fill in that sort of gap there. And maybe in here. A little bit. Fill that in a little bit. Probably not good for your brushes to do this, because you're really kind of fraying them on the side. But now that I've got a dry brush going here, I can go in and lay some grays. Almost like mascara. Let's see what I can do here. Giovanni, should see a physical therapist and avoid surgery? Yes, that's the plan. Even if they recommend surgery, I'll get a second opinion and try that first. It's not so bad that I can't do stuff, but I definitely, like even putting on a t-shirt, I have to change the order in which I put my arms through and stuff. And, I can't sleep on that side. There's a number of things that I've kind of have had to change already, but that's fine. Surgery, no bueno. You know what? I'm thinking going black with this. Don't worry, we're going to vote soon on the other character I'm going to draw in a little bit. And so I'm going to incorporate some of the suggestions I saw in Discord, some of the cheer suggestions I've seen today, and throw in a couple of my own. Actually, once I ink this black part, I'll do that, because we got to let this dry. Anyone watching Francis's stream? Are they enjoying it? What's going on? Francis Manipul. Seems like more artists are online, either talking about comics or drawing stuff. It's a good time. His kid was making a variant cover for him. He was using his kid to stream? That's genius. I love it. I'll get my kid in here. My daughter's been drawing comic books, my 6-year-old daughter. They're super cute. And I say that as a parent. You guys would be like, where's all the cross-hatching? That briefcase doesn't look like it could hold $10 million. What's going on? All right, I'm going to let this dry. This is 11 by 17 paper, for those of you who don't know. That's why it's so large. It doesn't quite fit into frame very well. I really have it set up for artwork, which is 9 by 12. All right. Ignite Comics has cheered. I talked to Tony Daniel in an appearance yesterday. He said he won't Twitch because he has to erase too much. He doesn't have superpowers like Jim Lee. Did you tell him I erase a crap load myself? I don't know. There's no shame in erasing. Erasing's like drawing, but the reverse of drawing. So it's not like drawing at all. Erasing is admitting defeat. No, erasing is revising, coming up with a better version. I think it's good to keep pushing yourself to do a better version. Every time you erase it, you are saying, I can do better. So it's a vote of self-confidence. Maybe, I don't know. All right. It's cowardice, that's what it is. Just erase, damn it. Hello from France. Hello, Serval25 from Burbank or California. All right, here we go. Janella, please do Batman and Catwoman. Dark Knight Returns, Armored Batman, The Phantom. I'll draw Tony Daniel erasing. His arm will be a blur. Datman71, Vegeta would be great to go with Goku. King Shaka, do you only stream on Sundays? I was streaming more, drawing late at night. I've stopped doing those streams. I've got other stuff that has kind of come on my plate because of some changes at work, and so it's actually healthier for me because I'm not going to be staying up all night drawing per se, but it means that I won't have those opportunities to do long form streams. So, Vegeta was just pronounced so hideously. LOL. Vegeta, 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 All Might be fun. I've drawn Tracer before, Bob Ross. Oh my God, all the manga people are flipping out. Vegeta, 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 not Vegeta. Well, if they meant Vegeta, they would put two E's in there. What is this cup holder in my computer? I push this button. Oh, it's a CD tray. All right. Okay. Golf Boy Sunday. Commissioner Gordon would be cool. Maybe I'm just trolling. All right. Here we go. I wish. Excuse me. Skooma Party has subscribed. Okay, put Black Canary in there. Bobby 808 boy has subscribed. Cool. And we'll put the Phantom here. All right, here we go. Oh, I could have done the Dark Knight Returns Armored Batman. Luckily, there'll be other streams. Fear not. Fear not. Let me erase some of these pencils here. Strangely, this motion is fine. It's just lifting overhead. It's always interesting, kind of, what tweaks it, what doesn't tweak it. But then I'm thinking, even maybe this is not good, even though it doesn't hurt. Maybe it's still doing some imperceptible damage. Like I should just not do anything. Okay, I'm gonna learn if I can erase with my left hand. It's a little harder. Never done it this way. So, FYI, All Might was one that our 17-year-old son had recommended, and he had explained to me what that's all about. Sadly, I'm at the age where I really don't know what's going on out there. I was watching Carpool Karaoke, and James Corden had Paul McCartney on, and I was looking at the audience that was flipping out, and they're all pretty old. I mean, there are a couple young people, but mostly people older than myself, and which is sad. I mean, the Beatles, they were huge, and I kind of wonder, like, my youngest kids have no idea. Anyway, all right, Vegeta scored 4.6. Batman and Catwoman 34%. All Might 21%. Black Canary 26%. We have a lot of DC fans today. Sometimes the manga crowd gets the upper hand. Okay. All right, let's see what we can do today. What time is it? 11:27. So we have a little over an hour left. This is almost done, believe it or not. Hashtag don't believe it. Mucky Mucks, the master is live. Thank you very much. Mucky Mucks is live in chat. Guys, Mucky Muck. The Dister won. Okay, Jim, enjoyed it as always. See you next Sunday. Take care. See you later. Victor says, can you finish that Batman Catwoman rough you showed us the other day? That would take too long to finish. I could do that and dedicate maybe an entire stream to that. Yeah. But yeah, that was going to be... Originally, it was going to be a double page spread that was going to be in Batman 50. Then they said, no, we need a single page because another artist that we thought wasn't going to come through did come through, which meant I had to recalibrate, move figures all together. I started doing that, and then ultimately I didn't like it. Then I was going to use it as a cover for Batman 50, but then I didn't really like the placement. I just didn't feel like a cover, and then I started running out of options, and then I came up with the Batman and Catwoman kind of touching foreheads together, which I think was a better cover in the long run. Okay. Let's try this. Even erasing, there's a way to, like, I just realized the way I erase, there is some technique to it, because I'm trying to erase with my left hand and I'm not quite getting the same results. I think control, the amount of pressure, all that kind of stuff. You can learn how to erase just as you can learn how to draw. How about that, folks? Okay. Put that aside. Get a pad of paper. Wow, I'm burning through these pads. Let's see if I can do this here. It's a little bit of a variation of the cover I did, actually. But maybe not as melancholy. Or maybe, let me see what... people in chat actually have the answers for pencils and all that, the equipment. They've been around long enough, so they know. Hi from the UK. Hey, Thomas Marvel. Hope you're doing well. Okay. Need to move over just a little bit. All right. Now the trick to this page is drawing a head from the 3/4 reverse angle. So we all know the 3/4 front angle, which is this face here. This is not quite a 3/4 reverse, but close to it. So the secret to the 3/4 reverse, I'll do it on this piece here, is that you, okay, draw the neck. You plant the head on it. The ear, you put on the side, it drops down right here. It's kind of the front part of that neck. You're going to see a bit of the underside of the chin. Don't worry about the lips. People get freaked out at the lips. They try to draw the lips and you don't have to do it. Yeah, this is like the equivalent of a 360 no scope. Crispy, I've seen Crispy do it. I've seen Mason do it. It's fun to watch. All right, don't even worry about the lips. Just go straight up. Draw the underside of the nose like that. And now draw the upper part of this part of the eye. If you think about the eye's construction from the side, here's the eyebrow. So there's this triangular element, right? If it's from the front, if this is the eyebrow, it's this part here that casts a shadow over the eye, right? Just draw this part. Okay? Extend that forehead there. You drop the nose down. This is the temple line here. The cheek goes from here, like that. There's a divot right there where that cheekbone is. The other ear is like right over there. This is the back part of the head. All right, so this is a comic book 3/4 from reverse. And we didn't even draw the lips. You can draw the lips like that if you have to. But you're really seeing the underside of the nostril and the underside of the part that kind of sits on top of the eye. Okay? You do that and you're set up. Joby Door, why does he start with a 2mm, sometimes with a 5mm? Any reasons? Well, the 5mm was right here. It was very handy. The 7mm is down here on the ground. I didn't want to bend over and yell into my microphone, but it's right here. This was closer. That's the reason why. Okay, the Drunk Superman has subbed. The Drunk Superman. Isn't that like redundant? It's a given. Batpunk9 has resubbed. KB Bradshaw has resubbed for 4 months. Thank you, KB Bradshaw. Good to see you again. Poop27, not to be confused with Poop Kid, has resubbed for 3 months. Raptor Bang, or Raptor Bang, it's a room full of raptors in Korea, has subbed for 3 months. Hashtag Dad Humor. Action Detective 11 has hosted with 1 viewer. Thank you so much. JC Ruhales Shredder from Ninja Turtles. Sure, someday, maybe. Skooma Party has already resubbed and I've already talked about that. The pencil length is pretty immaterial. I don't mean to be so flippant about it. It's just that I'm inking from loose pencils, so I'm just putting some lines down so that you guys have something to look at. in frame? Yeah, seem to be. It's funny, I think I drew a shot of Gambit and Rogue. If you go back and look at that stream, I actually knew that they were going to get. Well, this is a spoiler, so if you guys follow these comics, mute it for 5 seconds. I'll give you the thumbs up when you can unmute it. I'll give you a second to mute. So I already knew at that point that Kitty Pryde and Colossus weren't going to get married, and that the fake out was that people talk. We hear things, right? And so when I was drawing Gambit and Rogue, I think I almost inadvertently let it slip. I started talking about it, and if you listen to the video, I kind of switch it up at the last second, kind of go the other way. But I almost screwed it up. I almost like spoiled a competitor's big event. So anyway, I don't know why I brought that up, other than drawing this kind of triggered that memory. So the other ear's on the other side, probably right about here. So the ear is gonna be up here like that. I probably am gonna live stream. I'm doing like a Batman Max cover, so at some point I will live stream that. But when? I don't know. If I'm not doing the late night streams, I try not to draw late at night anymore. That's what it comes down to. Although I have the last time I did covers. So much for that. I have ideas, and then I don't necessarily execute off those ideas very well, apparently. Bo Bradshaw Art has resubbed. Husband to KB Bradshaw. 2 months and still almost done. Awesome. PMQ 182 has subscribed. And Johnton 89 and You Be Happy Okay. Johnton 89, thanks for streaming, Jim. What was it like filming Comic Book Greats with Stan Lee? It was cool. If I could say something, of course it was an honor working with Stan on that video series, but he wasn't like the same Stan Lee that people regard today. Like, he was like a cult hero, and now he's like huge, right? This was before the movie. I mean, this was the early 90s, so none of the movies had come out, right? Spider-Man. I mean, think of all the Marvel movies that came out since that time. And so it's kind of like, oh, we're working with the guy that drew all these comics, or wrote all these comics that we loved as a kid, and created all these characters that we loved. But, this is like right around the time of Image, or the early 90s. And frankly, if he wouldn't have done those videos with us if he were the Stan Lee of 2010, 2012, 2015, whatever year you have. I mean, the guy's just those movies have really just shown the genius of what he created, and it's amazing. So we kind of did as a lark, like kind of like, oh, okay, sure, why not? Get to hang out with Stan, and I thought like, well, no one will ever see these. I'll sell like a couple hundred copies, and they will disappear. And now, unfortunately, they're on YouTube forever and ever. My sartorial, is that the word? My fashion sense will forever be displayed to future generations. Actually, yeah, Todd McFarlane, he's wearing like acid 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 washed jacket, jean jacket, and with his I think he had a mullet, and I had like these Harry Potter very thick glasses. Malcolm X hat, just very questionable, baggy clothes. Could be worse. Who knows what I would have thrown up on social media if it was around back when I was like a teenager, you know? I think every kid should have the ability to kind of purge their background. Like at one point in their life, they can hit like a delete, and it takes everything, every mention of them online, and it just like you get one do over, right? It literally would be like, oh, I'm going to a new school, or I'm going to high school. I'm going to remake myself. I'm going to redefine myself, and people have that opportunity to do that online. I'm saying something that's triggering my PC into starting up Cortana or whatever this thing is. I'm not saying you need to do over cryptic games. I'm just saying you have the option. You get one chance. Because if I had that chance, I would hit that button on those videos. That's what I'm trying to say. Victor, I'd hit that button. Now I gotta Google Victor. I gotta find out what he's embarrassed by. Brian Denham. He's bringing out all the dirt. Sure, Brian. I'm sure there's. Look, we were all young. It was a funny time. Arthur HCM, your streams make me want to draw comics again. Thanks for that. I thank you. I'm happy that you want to do that. I don't know if I have Batman's hand down there on her chin. It looks like he's trying to do the Darth Vader. And I don't mean that in a kinky way or anything. I mean, just. I'm sorry, but all those pointy-eared heads just look silly, says Duck Helmet. What? He's checking for facial hair. Sounds like you're speaking from experience, Crispy. I'm not sure what's happening up there. Yeah, no, you guys are taking this the wrong way. All right. Serval25, happy birthday. Unfortunately, I can't send you the sketch. Yes, Cryptic Games. I feel you. Exactly, that's what I was thinking. Yeah, chat, we should moderate ourselves here a bit. Efix has resubbed. Thank you very much. Just Postal has subbed. Alexis Draws has hosted with 3 viewers. Thank you very much. Very good. All right. I think I'm wondering if I could. Sure, why not? Reverse it up a little bit. Too late to have her arms around his neck. Yeah, that's not really a great look because it basically. I don't like to draw that pose a lot because I think it kind of hides the necks and the heads feel a little. I mean, it's a very natural kind of embrace, but artistically, I've tried to stay away from that. So even if you look at Hush, I think Batman's arm is down and then even there's a page from Batman 50. You'll see that I refrain from doing that because once you do that, and especially if the woman is shorter than the guy, you're basically cutting off all this visually interesting areas in terms of shapes and compositions with shoulders and arms, right? Right, you got one head here, the other head here, and now I've just got this thing. Maybe I could put a little negative space in here and here, but it all starts becoming like kind of a blob. It's just one amorphous shape, right? So if you notice, I really do stay away from that as much as possible. So I'll have this arm down usually, and then the other arm is behind, and you'll see the hand come up over here in the back. So the embrace is happening behind, right? So if I could put her hand here, right? And you know that the arm is there. Okay? So it's a compositional thing. it feels a little smothered to me when that arm is there. That's all. It's just a personal preference. I don't even know if I want to put that hand back there. I'm thinking not. Blue Wolf 463. Have you thought about adding a single color to the pieces like Blood of Kratos? I only put like usually blood. I don't really do a lot of spot color. Usually it's red, like maybe on like Wonder Woman's tiara or lipstick or something like that. Yeah. Chris Topher has subscribed. Christopher. Got it. Has subscribed using Prime. Awesome. RJ Argene has resubscribed as well for 9 months. Thanks for loving the streams for 9 months. I appreciate it. Baba Majaga has resubscribed for 5 months. All right, what are we at? 11:54. All right. Let's erase a little bit. Let's see if I can erase with my left hand here a little bit. Okay. I didn't draw the eyes in. I'm channeling Kirihiko. If you have ever followed her stream, and she's on Twitch, she doesn't draw the eyes. Personally, I think it's a psychological issue that she might be dealing with, like creating that intimacy between the drawing and the viewer, because the eyes are the window to the soul. I think they convey so much emotion. LOL, harsh. It's not harsh. It's a joke. But yes, big heart, Kate. But it's interesting. It is interesting. Because she does wait to the very, very end. Or maybe it's because it's like icing on the cake. It's the final flourish, right? It's the chives. Or if you ever seen that movie Love Actually, it's the sprinkle of stuff on top of the... this is how Jim treats his mods. And it's interesting. Because, you know, I did ask her in the stream, and I don't know if she ever really discussed it. But it is something that she has chosen to do, right? Kate is Kirihiko. She's one of our... She was actually the first mod. I don't even know if she's here. I think she might be asleep. She might have passed out. She did explain. Okay. Yeah. She's traveling right now. Oh, so she's missing all this. Oh, well. Kirika has no soul. No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying she's chosen deliberately not to put that window to the motion till the end. I'm talking that she doesn't do it, because obviously she does it. You look at her drawings; they're beautiful. They're representations of stars as superheroes and just gray values. I mean, there's very, very well drawn. I'm questioning the order at which she draws it and how she waits to the end to put the eyes in. Because I feel like if you look at it, it doesn't look like the person until she puts the eyes in. So in her head, either she sees the eyes and it feels complete, or I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I have to get into it. Super talented. It's just, but I didn't draw the eyes here, and so to me, I feel like on edge. Like I don't know if this works yet. I'm like, is she furrowing her brows? Does she look too mad? I won't know until I put the eyes in. So maybe I've got the problem, right? Like, but a lot of artists actually have said this, like that they put the eyes in first. I don't know. Because if I drew the eyes over here, she'd look kind of bored, right? She's looking up right here. I'm gonna put them in. I can't take it. I can't take it. I can't take it. But I feel like once I have the eyes in it, it kind of informs the rest. It's an artistic question. It's a craft. It's a technical issue. It's like when you see robots like in Westworld, right? They dehumanize it by taking the eyeballs out, and then when they put the eyes in, that's where like the humanity pops in. I'm with Eamon Winkle on that one. Yes. Oh yeah. Hashtag spoiler Westworld. Sorry. If you've never seen Westworld, you should watch it. It's amazing. It's an amazing show. The old movie, I don't think it's campy. I enjoyed it, but I saw it when I was like sixth grade or something like that. You know. So all right, let's start inking. I'll tell you that this constant asking of questions, at the beginning, if I could tie in kind of what I was talking about at the beginning of the stream, I was kind of going through Hush and asking all those questions, even the stuff I drew myself. I think it's part of the creative process. And I'm going to be serious for a second. Like, you should be asking these questions. You should think about craft. I remember when I was breaking into the business, I was so curious, like, how other artists kind of created techniques or even how writers kind of even compose their stuff. It's just curious. And I don't know why. Other than I felt like there was something to be learned, I guess. But that's how I learned about creating rain effects. You'll see that I really kind of spent a lot of time doing like zipatone effects for a while. I learned about zipatone. I kind of went crazy with zipatone. But I'll tell you, I was also kind of masking my own inability to draw. Right? I should have been really focused on the drawing part of it, but I got focused on all this other stuff. And that other stuff kind of was window dressing and kind of got me through and allowed me to create some interesting effects with kind of limited abilities of drawing. But I think it, again, goes back to this whole notion that we think there's like some secret, if I just do this, it'll unlock some other ability. But maybe that's the part of the process, is that your drawing isn't going to get good super fast. So to keep your interest in the whole process of drawing, you keep sort of exploring these other kind of rabbit holes to kind of explore and go down and go like, oh, I'm going to use this tone, or I'm going to use spot color, or I'm going to change up the order at which I draw this stuff. I don't know if I'm even making any sense. But in that process of exploring other things other than the drawing, it's giving your time, your mind, time to kind of process this information. Huh? What's going on? Who's that bad boy? What the- oh my gosh, the stream is degenerated. I'm lifting it up so that it's not so steep. I'm worried about the ink running off the page. And we've already established how to draw reflections in glass, right? It's the things around them that you're seeing in the glass. So we can draw Batman, but it's going to be curved, right? And it's going to be abstracted a little bit because it's warped by the curvature. Maybe there's a building over here that's also kind of curved. Building over there. Right? Yeah, yeah. We have kids here, people. Let's keep it clean. Let's keep it Run Elephant clean. Clean like Run Elephant. Superhero swimmer art. Gotta keep it wholesome. All right? Okay. Thank you. Don't make me hit the redo button, guys. What kind of pepper do you use for arts? What are you talking about? Pepper. Paper. I'm not American. My English is bad. Snake Eyes 5225. Yeah, it is. It is Strathmore 9 by 12, but it's if you're not an American, it would be A4 A4 paper. It's I think it's a smooth finish. It's on the main page of Twitch. All that information right here. Give a shout out to Strathmore, Bristol. Whoop whoop. When it rains, while I'm sitting in church with one earbud in, phone in my lap, pretending to pray but watching Jim Lee. I should say something inappropriate to make When It Rains laugh. Hi, I'm here lying with my significant other. I'm not. Got to keep it clean for superhero swimmer art. All right, DCM Masters _art has subscribed. Byron the Bulb, 10 months. When's the wedding registry for Batman's? Batcat's wedding. Love your stream. Thanks, Byron the Bulb. Youngie Wungie. Say that 100 times. Youngie Wungie has subscribed. Plate Riot has resubscribed for 10 months here since the beginning, or near beginning. Rad Vengeance. Cool name. Charlie asked, did you just decide in the light sources you did the inking or have an idea from the beginning? I think I did it as I was drawing it. I don't know. I don't really remember. RSD Schillen 1996 Pessimiso. Pessimissimo. Pessissimo. Pessissimo. I don't know. Something like that. I always like to say if you're going to go for some bold lighting, the more blacks you can spot, like the more shadows you can place, the better you are. So keep pushing it until you break it and then start over. And then you'll start learning how far you can go before you break it, and maybe you can do that. You can experiment on photocopies. You can, if you work digitally, hit Command Z. Okay. The screen is black. I should just go to black. I should just figure out a way. Hold on a second quickly before that person figures it out. Oh wait, you can still see me on the side. Sorry, I forgot. No, everything's fine. Just hit refresh. Sorry. Can you narrate like you're Bob Ross? I could. Oh, it's off panel. I have to fix the camera placement. I apologize. Because I'm streaming less, I kind of dismantle the setup every time just so I have a little more room in my cramped office here. So when I reset up, things are not exactly in the same spot. Yeah. My condolences, Quick Draw 13. My condolences, Jamie. Bob Ross is live, by the way. Add some Ewoks in the background. This is very random, this whole chat. You guys are like on 10 different things going on. Yeah, you should always blame the editor. Blame the editor, blame the publisher, blame the company. My job is to be creative. I was creative. Everyone else let me down. Sure, why not? I'm just doing this so the ink dries a little more uniformly. Reaper 1582 has resubbed. Thank you very much. Brutal Knight 15, a stream of you doing a D&D character. Yeah, that would be kind of fun. Tooth says, this is amateur hour. I'm totally going to the Bob Ross stream. I highly recommend it, man. That guy is so chill. It's relaxing. It's comforting. Yes, that's right, Clayton. Ink Pro Tips. That's right. Ink Pro Tips. All right, this thing went off again. What is the triggering word that creates the PC to... Does anyone know? It's not Ewoks. Clayton? No. Every now and then it goes off. Bob Bradshaw art. Yeah, go for chunky black shadows. You can add the detail stuff later. You could do a series of like very small, detailed shadows, little small ones, and build them up. But a lot of times you'll go, you know what? That was a waste of time. I should just go completely black. So I recommend going big and bold initially, and then you can add the details in. Blue screen of death. That didn't do anything. Almost done? No? Every now and then it just... Bing? What? No, it's not Bing. I think it's... Let me see what the triggering word is here. I think I said Cortana. Yep, see? But I don't say Cortana. It's misinterpreting stuff I say. I don't know. Whatever. All right. While we're letting that dry, I can go back in and finish this large Joker piece. Can't even do that. All right. I'm just going to add details here first, very quickly, and then do white out, and then this will be done. And it's 12:16. I don't know if I can get to Black Canary today. Someone out there is throwing something at their computer screen. I apologize. And now this is just about scale. I'm just adding a little more details, pulling out some of the bigger black shapes into grays and finer details so it doesn't look like brush strokes. It looks more like what I want it to look like, which is hair, I guess. It hides the brush strokes a little bit more. kind of give some of the blunter lines tips and endpoints. So it creates texture, scale, a little more finesse with the lines so that it doesn't look like I said, big brushy lines. Looks like shadows, which is what we want them to look like. And I'm just creating some great tonal value transitions. All right. Astro 235, thank you very much. That's very kind of you. Words of affirmation. Now I'm just adding kind of thicker lines at the ends to kind of give more volume, right? So thicker on the sides and bottoms to suggest shadows and weight, and lighter on the top, or I just use the existing light on top, except in this instance here. So I'm going to white out these lips come up too far, both here and here, so I'm going to pull that in with white out. And then make this thicker down here. It's distorted because of the, so it looks more like this, I think. But even here, I want to come in a little bit and just kind of pull that back a little bit. Okay. Gonna clean up this line a little bit. And then lastly, if I can find a straight edge, like right down here, I can finish up the buildings. And these are more impressionistic, all right? I'm not drawing buildings, but I'm drawing what buildings feel like. So I could be kind of get a little artsy or Bob Rossian, right? It's the glimmer, the spectacle of a night sky. I'm not drawing, well, now I'm kind of drawing individual windows, but the idea is not to draw each window and kind of blacken out. It's creating the illusion of a building, right? Happy buildings, ha ha ha, very happy. And if you notice, I'm using one marker to do all this, so I realize that creates kind of uniformity. So I'm going to go in with a thicker marker in a little bit. You'll see kind of what I can do by varying up the line weights a little bit, even with this thinner marker by hitting it a couple times there. Oh, way off here. Let's do a couple major. Let's just fix this chin now so I don't have to keep looking at it. Okay, so I got that. And pull that there so you can kind of see how that helps a lot. Okay. Let me get that thicker marker. Got a 0.5 right here. Let's see if I can. This is actually a new marker, so I don't know if it's actually giving me a thicker line than the 0.4 I was kind of beating to death. So I don't know if this is really doing much to explain kind of what I was trying to have it do. But what I was trying to do was just create a texture behind him that kind of looked like a cityscape, that felt like a cityscape. And you're going to see it here in a second as I kind of go in and now do spot kind of details. I actually need to fix these lips here. Okay. Okay. And this line here is no good. Okay. Let that dry. While we're letting that dry, I'm going to go over to this thing. Work on this a little bit. I'm going to render out of the so I have a little bit of a Gene Colan kind of vibe to it. So I'm just creating some gray values and some transitions from the dark shadows into the white, so it doesn't look quite as stark. So through the power of cross-hatching and parallel lines, I create form and structure, three-dimensionality, pecs. The wedding issue comes out July 4th week, so I think there's a couple weeks left. I have my copy though, and looks and reads great. Really nice job by Tom King and all the guest artists that help contribute. Tony Daniels contributed a page as well, but it was all like it's half blank. I'm not sure why, what was going on. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. Hello, Mora 1618. How are you doing? Good to see you again. Thanks for the cheers, Curtis War. Appreciate it. DJ Mittens has cheered. Thank you very much for the cheer, DJ Mittens. Nacho Lover 1. Unapologetically in love with nachos. Thank you, Nacho Lover 1 has subscribed. Thank you. Calahad is subscribed. Abetus 2 has subscribed. Not to be confused with Abetus, but I think Abetus is doubling down on his chances. I like that commitment. RJ Fever, or RJ Ever, has cheered. Punker13 has resubscribed. Loving the Batcat work today. Awesome, thank you. The Comic Source has cheered. Just Draw Dude. Shirts are being made and ready for San Diego Comic Con. Awesome. Spiky Summer has cheered as well. Mavprick713 has resubscribed. I think you meant Maverick 713. It's just a typo. We'll forgive you. Shofu Kamachi1 has subscribed. Mora1618 has been compelled to resubscribe for 8 months. Thank you very much. Okay. What do we have? Yeah, San Diego Comic-Con is the busiest show. That week is the busiest week of the entire year for me and the company. In contrast, like WonderCon is actually it's one of the lightest schedules I have for a show that we go to. If I had to rank them, I would put San Diego as a 10 in terms of busyness. New York Comic Con is like a 6.5, and a WonderCon at like a 3.5, 4. That's kind of the level of intensity. Just cleaning up some of the lines, just making them look a little prettier, a little cleaner, a little less haphazard or thrown, more intentioned, right? Less cavalier. We're in overtime. It's 12:38. My wife's still up in the Bay Area, so I'm good. Some errands I have to run today, though. Get some stuff done while the kids are out of town. Okay. Hello. Somebody Scars something? Very bright green name. I can't see it. Probably a little on the heavy side. Lighten that up a little bit. Okay. Where else do I want it to go? Jim, check my phone. Okay. Check your phone. Uh-oh. What's going on? Oh. No, I'm just going to do whisper silent. Yeah, we're just going to do whisper today for the Joker piece. A new phone. Who this? Yeah. I haven't really I know a little bit about this other system, but I need to do a little more research. Figure out exactly. So we're gonna go with. So for the Joker piece, if you have a bid, you basically send it as a whisper with your your highest bid. It's a silent auction. I won't reveal who won it, but I will reveal the bid. It's 11 by 17. It's a larger piece, but it's a Joker. So who's to say what it's going to go for? And this is for sub 25s, and then for everyone in chat, I've got like this thing here, right, which has it's kind of like a prelim, maybe. Is it a prelim? It's the reason why I didn't put that arm. Cortana. Triggered again. Why? This is what you would get if I put that arm there. It's a blob, right? This one's sub 25 right here. This is for anyone in chat. It's just got some random stuff. All right, you can see kind of how to do that kind of 3/4 as opposed to a straight on shot. That's all. So, whatever. Random stuff, random stuff. Okay. All right, so I will clean this up. So if you're interested in the Joker piece, which I will finish in a little bit, send a silent whisper. Next time we do it, I'll have a different system. I just haven't had time to. I kind of understand it conceptually. I just need to really kind of work through all the implications of doing it that way. And okay. A little night sky action going on. Nope. Not so great there. Good job, Jim. Smeared some stars. I will fix that in a second, folks. Thin out some of these lines here. And kind of beef up. Whoops. Okay. Here's the straight on shot. I will, as I usually do, I post these into the Discord channel before I put them on other social media. So go check it out shortly after the stream. And let's see what else I can do here. I'm going to beef up some of these lines down here, just kind of make them more meaningful. It's a little bit of a lyrical sketch in that it's kind of looser, kind of more ephemeral. It's a moment. It's a moment in time, right? Okay. Actually, I'm going to send out one other thing. Here we go. Okay. All right. It's going to say like for whoever up here and then down here, of course. Batcat. All right. Let's see if I can flatten this out for you guys here. All right, but before we give that away, we're going to give away this. It's just scratch paper, just random stuff. This was barrels of guns, how to do shadows inside, cubes, hair strands from, I don't know what, was that Psylocke? I can't remember who that was from. Anyway, okay, so we'll do this one first. This goes to anyone in chat. Give that away. Like a sort of abstract piece of modern art kind of thing going on. So you're getting something. Right. Something fell to the ground. I don't know what. Okay. Okay. I'm just goofing around. Oh yeah, sign for eBay, of course. You're right. I must not forget. Where's my Sharpie? Kingdom for... Oh, here's a Sharpie. And then it has this prelim on the back. Did I get it right, or did I screw it up? Looks like devil horns. Not quite what I meant to do. Oh well. All right. Let's do this one first. So basically, anyone in stream can win this. Okay. And to win it, the only thing you have to have done is be active in chat within the past 5 minutes. So if you've been silent, just sitting there waiting, you will not be eligible. But if you have said something, do not spam the channel, because if you spam, you'll get locked out, and then you won't be able to. And then if I wait more than 5 minutes, and then you're screwed. So just say one thing and you're registered. Okay? All right, here we go. All right, there we go. It's weird. I'm going to give it another minute because the way Nightbot works, it had a certain number, and then as the spam was going, it didn't climb up, and then I waited, and then it jumped up like over 100. Okay, so I'm just going to wait a little bit more because there's a bit of a lag between when you guys input and when it shows up. Mentally, I'm doing kind of a 60-second countdown. Okay. All right, so let's do that one first. Let's go ahead and do it. And I'm going to roll it. Northside Blue, following since March 30th of 2018. Congrats, Northside Blue. So Northside Blue, let me know if you're in Discord. I'll send you a message on Discord. If you're not in Discord, I'll send you a whisper. Okay. All right. This is the silent auction. I'm just going to finish it so you guys get a sense of what it looks like in the completed state. Okay. All right. All right, so to complete this sense of the city, I go in and add like little city details, like windows here and there. But they're just kind of randomly put. Like I said, it's more helter-skelter. It's not designed to look like a real building. Again, it's all about kind of feeling like a city. So I'm going to just go ahead and block out certain shapes, like as if some buildings were knocked out. Maybe add a couple like chimneys or water towers. What time is it? 1:02. And it's amazing what you can get away with if you just put a couple windows, because it's almost like the mind kind of puts in the rest of the windows for you, right? Okay. All right, and then you could do the same thing with whiteout. You can add white windows or repeated elements or random elements like that using whiteout. And then again, that creates the illusion of a city that is lit up. And this is something, a very Klaus Jansian kind of technique. If you look at any black and white of his run on Daredevil with Frank Miller, that's where I got this from. And it's amazing. It's a lot of fun to kind of work this way, because again, it's very liberating. You're not drawing every single window, which gets tedious. It's more like you're painting a cityscape than anything else, right? You see that? It's just a texture, textures on textures, like textures. Oh. Okay. Now we gotta do the stars. I realize it's not in frame here, so let me pull it down. And you can even pull the splatter into the city itself. It creates random illuminated kind of elements, windows. Okay. I don't know if. All right, so let me. This whiteout here at the bottom, it really caked up, so I'm going to pick it up and reapply it so it's flatter. Apply it more like white paint. I'm letting the whiteout dry upside down too. Fish scales. All right. I think I'm done tinkering with this enough. I don't know where I'm going to put my signature though. I think I'm going to do it right here. Stack it up there. All right, and I'm going to put this in angle so you can kind of see it. Which reminds me, I gotta basically okay. So I'm going to check the whispers for that. In the meantime, we have this, which will be, so we're going to go to, so all the whispers have to be done at this point. Well, actually, not at this point. But we're going to go to emote only in chat. The only way you can win this is if you type in, don't do it yet, because I have to type it into Nightbot here. So this is going to be a keyword, subs only and mods. All mods are always eligible. But you have to type in Jim Lee underscore Jim Lee lowercase capital BATS. All right, so it's underscore JIMLEE capital B lowercase ATS. If you do it correctly, you'll get a Batman head like what you see. Okay, so basically this locks out anyone who's not a sub 25. Every week or every stream it rotates, right? So it goes from everyone to sub 5 to sub 10s to sub 25s. If you sub at the 25 level, you're eligible every single time. So you can see all the people that are eligible for the sketch. I'm going to let them load in a little bit. It'll take a minute or two. While that's happening, I'll check my whispers and see what I have here. While we're waiting for that to happen. 'Kay. Someone's asking, will the whiteout turn yellow over time? No, this remains white. The only way it yellows if you use Sharpie. If you use Sharpie with the, because the Sharpie has a chemical that's brought out by either whiteout or acrylic white, it ghosts, it turns yellow. The materials I use basically don't fade unless you put everything in direct sunlight, really intense direct sunlight, which I would not recommend. One second. All right, so let me do the roll because I don't want that to disappear. So for this piece here, I'm gonna roll. And the winner is Muramasa 007, following since September 10th of last year, and is the sub. Please, Muramasa 007, type in the proper emote just to confirm, because Nightbot can sometimes be glitchy, even though it really shouldn't. There you go. Awesome. Congrats. All right, so one last thing we're going to do is we're going to do a raid. I don't know if Kirihiko's here. She's still traveling. If one of the mods has someone that they would potentially want to raid, it's a fun thing we kind of do at the end. If you guys still have some time, we go to another stream and we just basically kind of make ourselves known, and kind of like we've met a lot of great artists this way, and it's been a really cool way of sort of sharing the love within the Twitch platform. Lastly, I want to thank MK9577 for subscribing, Jay Carlos as well, Adriana Art, Mutants Molded My Morals, Katie App since 9 months ago, Donosaurus, and also thank DJ Mittens again for the cheers, Charlie, and I am Gary as well. So, also Bok has resubscribed, Benji Tang, Evil Jewel, Charlie has subbed, I am Gary has cheered. So a lot of support and love via bits and subs. So thank you guys for tuning in. This is the end of the stream. I'm waiting for where we're going to go. If you've never done this before, check it out. It's a lot of fun. I'm looking at potential winners here. Let me see very quickly. Also, please thank our mods, Kirihiko, Ren Elephant, and Crispy Egg Roll for their support. They basically do a lot. They're always making continual refinements on the stream. They also have worked on the Discord channel and are always figuring out new ways to make the stream better. So please thank them, as I thank them as well. And I will see you guys most likely next weekend. I have to figure out exactly the time because I'm going to be in Las Vegas for this Frank Miller signing. So I need to figure that out. I think I'm just going to go through and figure out who won this piece. But it looks like it's going to go for over 3,000 something, 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 or maybe more. I don't know. There's a lot. So anyway, so let's figure out where we're going to go as a raid. And I'll post the winning bid in Discord, along with the photo of the image. Yeah, so I'll be at Torpedo for the Frank Miller signing. So thanks, guys. Ren, do you have someone that you want to raid? You want to put in the Discord mods at work part? Or Crispy, if you guys have a suggestion. Oh, never mind. I found it. Perfect. This is a good one, guys. Someone I actually know beforehand. All right, let's go check them out. Let's give them a big shout out. And I'll catch you guys later.